Hey there, guys. Welcome back to Collective's Skies, and this is your July astrology forecast for the month. I found it more convenient to just do a quick rundown of the month, so that you have one consistent place to keep checking back to as the month progresses. So it is Cancer season. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Cancers. I'm sure you are really enjoying, the solar return energies. Whenever it is your season is whenever you feel the most energized, whatever star sign you are. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Cancer energy, Cancer season is a time when being more in touch with your emotional roots is the keynote of the cycle. Especially the cycle that is most prevalent in your life right now, whatever that is. So this has to do with feelings for sure, but it is way more than that. It's about making the things that you feel and care about a reality. And at some levels, this means a way greater focus on your family life. So this could be with respect to your parents, your children if you have them, relatives, the whole domestic scene, or basically who you consider a family. Now, on a bit of a broader scale, you're likely to find that the home, or what you regard as feeling at home, takes on a greater significance for you. So nurturing is where it's at in your life right now. You're going to be making things grow and taking care of them, basically planting seeds that will develop and survive far, far into the future. That's what Cancer season is all about. Now, quick highlights of what to expect as the month continues. Now, Mercury is still in Cancer. This is basically, Mercury is a planet of communication, so it's basically intuitive, guarded, sentimental type communication. Gut level is the way that we're going to be thinking, speaking, and perceiving in this transit. So you aren't going to be interested in anything superficial. Instead, you're going to want to get right to the root of things. You're not going to care about the universal, only about how things impact you and yours. So intellect and emotion are going to be mixing to the point of inseparability. Now, since June the 27th, if you watched my previous video, I also did mention that Mars, moved into Aries. So this energy is going to continue throughout the month. And this energy basically, is a great time for you to begin any new projects, especially exercise routines. So for those of you who feel like you've fallen off and you felt a bit lazy, this is a great time to start exercising again. It is also a great time to start any new jobs, anything competitive, especially entrepreneurial enterprises. So, fresh challenges and initiatives are definitely going to be lighting your fires during this season, especially because this is a new cycle. It feels like a new cycle beginning in your life as we come out of that Mars in Pisces energy, which was like make love not war. So there's going to be lots of residual energy, a powerful urge to be the first or to come out on top. So it's definitely a way with the old and on to the new. So let no one and or nothing stand between you and your objectives, pandemic or no pandemic. So it's definitely time to go after your individual goals. Don't completely forget about other people's needs and feelings, of course, but there are times in life when it's essential to focus on yourself. Self-care is the best care. In order for you to do anything for other people, you need to start it with yourself. Charity begins at home, people, and this is definitely one of those times. However, aggression is definitely bound bound to arise too at this time. So it's definitely going to be a time when, arguments might flare up way easier. Conflicts also may easily arise. However, how you can best use this energy is, you're going to have headstrong impulses and rash courage. It will definitely take you far if you use this energy to your advantage. It's easier to get into harm's way as well if you're not careful. Now, Jupiter is also, still retrograde in Capricorn. So this is basically, respect, status, and achievement being, our central goals for us in our lives at this time. We're going to be bent on, this is continual energy, so we're just going to continue feeling the need to create structure to empower and maintain our ideals and principles. This is really becoming a high priority as an article of faith as well. Now, by taking on greater responsibilities of this kind, you end up becoming an inspiration to others as well in the process. Now, also happening this month is Saturn is still retrograde as well in Capricorn. So this is inviting us to go within, really examine our sense of responsibility, accountability, hard work, ambition, and achievement, and really viewing them as foundations that we need to build our lives upon. Now, there may be a tendency to be a little too hard on yourself or on others, and perhaps maybe a bit cold in your approach to, these things as well. So just let the ambition take you to the top, but do not let it derail you into thinking that the end justifies the means, okay? Now, Uranus is still in Taurus, so that's just basically practicality and ingenuity combining as powerful drives in our lives within this transit. So we're going to be taking innovative concepts and making them real and practical, and that's especially going to be a strong suit during this time. So if you had any idea, or maybe you had no idea that you had any type of ideas simmering around in your mind, but this is a really great time for you to just note down whatever comes to your mind idea wise, because it's definitely going to be of advantage to you. Getting stuck in the mud is to be avoided at all costs. Financial savvy, inventiveness, worldly genius as well is really potent in this transit. So be on the lookout for new inventions, and as I mentioned in previous videos, we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in how we operate financially, as a world collective. Now, Neptune moved into Pisces on June 23rd, and it's still in Pisces. It's also in retrograde motion. So this is basically energy where all things spiritual and psychic are taking the driver's seat of our imagination. So when Neptune is in Pisces, the fine arts and all manner of fantasies assume a larger than life importance. We surrender to fate, karma, and the Most High, God, Source, Universe, whatever you refer to our Creator as, who is greater than us. And, just noticing that this is the ultimate liberation at this time. When all things fall apart, who do you turn to at the end of the day? In Hinduism and also in yoga, it's there's this, and Buddhism as well, there's this concept of Maya, which is illusion. So if you look at the world as an illusion and know that if all is illusion, then what really is the reality that gives rise to the world of appearances? Who's behind it all? We tend to live mindlessly, forgetting what's really important. I'm sure most of you just get out of bed without saying a word of thanks. I'm not saying you have to pray or anything. I'm just saying, take this time to really think that even when you move your hand, it's not you telling yourself to move your hand, it's something that is moving that hand. You know what I mean? So just take time to acknowledge the creator of self. Now, Pluto is in Capricorn. This is basically the energy of the pursuit of social power, over political power and status, finding a way of seeming more necessary and inevitable. I don't need to reiterate this, because of all the things that we're seeing happening in the world today, with people standing up and coming together and uniting and fighting for what is truly right. It started out small, but it has bigger consequences than everyone thinks. There's a reason why history repeats itself, so that we can find new practical ways of governing, of living, and existence in general that actually make sense. So basically, the planets that are in direct motion the whole month are Mars and Venus. Venus got out of retrograde on the 25th of June. The retrograde planets for the whole of July will be Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, and Pluto. Now, let's move into the daily energies. So, for your convenience, I've just broken them down into, the transits per planet. So, yeah, per planet per day. So July 1st, also as well, the timing, because I'm in Nairobi, Kenya, I'm using East African time. So wherever you are, just convert the time, but the time that the planet moves in is also not super important. The most important part is the message. So on July 1st at 5:52 a.m. East African time, the sun will be conjunct Mercury. So this means we are especially sharp, communicative, and open at this time, because our wants are aligned with our thoughts. It's an amazing time for solving problems. What we say or write right now has a major impact, for better or worse. So this is a great day if you're an author, or if you have a blog, or if you want to communicate something and have major impact, do it on the 1st of July. Now, also on July 1st at 9:06 a.m. East African time, the sun is going to be sextile Uranus. So this means we're willing to adapt to new and familiar situations, circumstances, and ideas. It's a good time to join organizations and groups that resonate with us, attend meetings or social events, because these will be really enlightening in helping us find creative solutions to problems that we are facing right now, and be able to effect positive changes. Flexibility is the key to success under this influence. On the same day, July 1st at 7:55 p.m. East African time, Mercury is going to be square Chiron. Now, for those of you who are new, Chiron is an asteroid that's its energies depict our inner wounding. So with this aspect, communications may be strained and possibly even hurtful or perceived as hurtful. So you may be blunt, but somebody sees it as you wanting to hurt them. Misunderstandings are definitely going to be more likely. Decisions may also be hard to come by, because we may tend to doubt ourselves or the effectiveness of our ability to solve problems. It can be hard to read the intention behind the words used to communicate at this time. Now, moving on to July 2nd at 2:37 a.m. East African time, Saturn is still going to be retrograde, but it's going to leave the sign of Aquarius and move back into Capricorn, where it's going to remain until December the 17th. But Saturn is going to be direct on September 29th, still in the sign of Capricorn. July 5th, 7:44 a.m. East African time, we are going to have the full moon in Capricorn. So this is basically, a time to just really focus on seeing how the seeds that we planted on the new moon in Cancer last month, have come to fruition, and just really, revisiting, reviewing what can be done, what's workable, and just really putting our heads and minds into the grind, and just re-evaluating our blueprints. Now, July 8th at 1:41 p.m., Mercury is going to be square Mars. So, this is an aspect, a transit where impatience, hastiness, and disagreements characterize the day. So, it's unfavorable time for any kind of meeting, starting any new project, or doing a business proposal. So if you have a business meeting for that day, I would cancel it, because we can be irritable and say all of the wrong things. We may be also competing for the floor when it comes to expressing our ideas, thoughts, and opinions, making it really difficult to engage in any type of healthy dialogue. So because of this mental agitation dominating, we may stir up controversy with what we say or how we say it. July 10th at 9:36 p.m. East African time, Venus is going to be sextile Chiron. So this means we will have the chance to heal our personal relationships, because this is a day that we will be more open to intimacy and commitment, as well as learning, from one another. We're going to be way more humble and way more open. So we will easily see beauty, in human weaknesses, and just be more empathetic, so to speak. So it's a strong time for building trust in relationships as well. Now, on July the 11th, Chiron is going to turn retrograde in the sign of Aries, and it will remain retrograde until December the 15th. So this cycle is really great for introspection and reassessing your mental and physical health programs in your lives. How do you take care of your mental health? How do you take care of your physical health? Is what you're currently doing working for you? So this is a time when we tend to look within for healing, because as I mentioned earlier, Chiron is about our inner wounding. Okay, July 12th at 9:42 p.m. East African time, the sun will be trine Neptune. So this is an energy, that expresses how we're at the right place at the right time. Probably because on this day our hunches are more likely to be correct, because we are super tuned in. So intuition is going to be on fleek. We are going to be inspired, and charitable acts will serve to lift our spirits like no drug can. A good time for self-improvement programs as well, or efforts. Instinctual judgment is going to be enhanced as well, because we are able to see matters and people from a way different perspective, one that allows for and even finds beauty in the differences. On the same day, Mercury is going to be turning direct. Yes, so all of you people who hate Mercury retrograde, although I'll do a video about how Mercury retrograde is kind of awesome, the communications planet is going to, it had begun a retrograde cycle last month on the 18th of June, but now it's going to end on the 12th, because Mercury has remained in the sign of Cancer throughout the retrograde. It's going to, stay there for some time until August the 4th. So, it's this next month is just total Cancer energy, even as we move into the sun in Leo on the 22nd of July. So it's going to remain there in its post retrograde shadow until July 29th. Continued healing energies, folks. July the 14th, 10:58 a.m., the sun is going to be opposite Jupiter. This is where conflicting urges with regards to what we think we should do and what we want to do can be frustrating. So there's going to be a tendency to go overboard and to indulge in extravagances. So please watch out for overestimating your capabilities right now. Culminations or surprising changes in a project or ambition as well might occur on this day, and the urge to grow and expand is super strong, but you might overreach because of overestimating your abilities. So just everything in moderation. The next aspect we have is July the 15th, which is at 10:12 p.m. East African time, the sun is going to be opposite Pluto. So this is where we may feel on edge, volatile, or even threatened. In some cases, infantile rage is possible too. There is going to be an inner type of drama taking place right now, and a feeling that external circumstances are undermining our own feeling of powerfulness, which is understandable. If you've been cooped up, in one place, it tends to happen. But in the process, we may be able to get in touch with our internal motivations. So I really recommend meditation, because a tendency to want to control our lives through some form of manipulation is going to be super strong during this influence. Meeting with obstacles in our path, however, can force us into the position of using all of our resources to fight back, and we can discover resources we never knew we had in the process. So just take some time to just notice your thoughts and how things make you feel on that day. On July 20th at 8:32 p.m. East African time, new moon is going to be in Cancer. Now, if you guys remember, this is the second new moon in Cancer this year. The first one was, was on the solar eclipse on June 21st. Now, having gained confidence in coping mechanisms, and creative energy while eclipses move through the 11th and 5th houses, we face a new challenge, which is breaking with the past and moving with confidence towards the future. So many of you might move to a new place or even discover your life path. Finally, one may lead to the other. So the key to discovering your direction in life, as described by the 10th house, is in first making peace with your point of origin, and especially with your family. So if you're going to get anywhere in life, you must travel as lightly as possible, and that means the family baggage has got to go. Alternately, if you've spent years pursuing your career path, this may be a time when, there's more emphasis on your family, because the 10th house sends you out into the world to follow your calling, and then the 4th house sends you on a treasure hunt deep within yourself, examining your background and your heritage. So here you're going to find the raw material, the, so to speak, diamonds in the rough that you can polish and refine so that you can, give a meaningful gift to the world. Now, on July the 21st at 1:27 a.m. East African time, the sun is going to be opposite Saturn. So our confidence is undermined by feelings of doubt, pessimism, or feelings of guilt at this time. So you may feel blocked, encountering obstacles to progress, and inhibitions may also feel prominent under this influence. You may face a heavy dose of realism, which may seem forced upon you, but your efforts to measure up to expectations can ultimately increase your confidence in your ability to be responsible for yourself. This is definitely a somber type of influence, no joke. July 21st, Mercury is square Chiron. Communications may be strained on this day and possibly even hurtful, or perceived as such as well. Decisions will also be hard to come by because of doubting ourselves, exactly what I said a bit earlier, because it may be hard to read the intention behind the words used to communicate on this day. Now, on July 22nd, it's finally going to be Leo season. The sun will enter into the sign of Leo. And basically, the motto at this time, I would say, is "This I do for me." This is your time to shine. like a swirl of star stuff that has finally reached critical mass and suddenly starts to give off more light than it receives. Issues of pride, mastery, and appreciation become more and more central to your life stream as Leo season progresses, as does a very important lesson that it's not what you do so much as how you do it. So, not who you are so much as how you make others feel about themselves. If it doesn't come from the heart, it definitely won't matter during Leo season. Now, on the same day, July 22nd at 11:25 p.m. East African time, Mercury is going to be sextile Uranus. So this is an opportune time to attend meetings and other organized group activities, to communicate online, and to take part in activities involving computers, scientific projects, and metaphysics too. Anything sciencey. Unexpected gains may be realized through such mediums at this time. So if any of those areas is your area, please take advantage of this day. Don't say I didn't warn you. Your intuition is going to be super strong. Your insights seem to come out of the blue. Original creative ideas are going to be way, way easier to come by. So please take advantage of your ability to see things in a new light by breathing life into any old projects that you procrastinated on or put away, because you'll be able to solve problems in new and creative ways. Varying your usual routine as well may be especially rewarding at this time, and this energy is going to continue all the way up until July the 27th at 7:06 p.m. East African time, Jupiter is going to be sextile Neptune. So this is an idealistic time, especially for humanitarian goals or impulses. Making connections with others from different backgrounds will definitely be a main figure, a main theme at this time. Widening your minds as well through unusual or different experiences as well can be part of the picture. Practical considerations could take a back seat right now. Generosity and compassion will definitely increase, and your faith will be boosted. So you'll more easily make personal sacrifices for what you believe to be the better good. On July 27th at 8:47 p.m. East African time, Venus is going to be square Neptune. So relationship ups and downs characterize this transit, a time when romantic mirages are more than likely. So we're going to be, donning pink or rose-colored glasses, as they say. We're going to be seeing what we hope to see rather than what really is. The highs of a relationship begun under this energy may feel thrilling, but the accompanying lows are bound to set in, and they will be extremely draining. So please be careful not to set yourself up for disappointment. The same goes for finances. What appears to be a great buy will likely turn out to be a financial drain or a money pit. Lines can blur when it comes to pursuits of pleasure, so also be very careful in indulging in any drugs or alcohol at this time, because you may overindulge and it will not end well. Also, these lines which are blurry will make you convince yourself to believe what you want to believe. So please be very careful during this transit. Know what you can handle and what you cannot handle. On July the 28th at 12:45 midnight AM. I can't tell the time now. East African time, Mercury is going to be square Mars. So, impatience, hastiness, and disagreements characterize this transit. It's unfavorable for any kind of meeting, starting any new project, or any business proposals. So, again, I mentioned this earlier. I think this is the second time it's happening this July, where we'll be irritable, may say all the wrong things, be competing for the floor when it comes to expressing our ideas, thoughts, opinions, making it difficult to engage in healthy type of dialogue, mental agitation, all that stuff, just stirring up controversy with what you say or how you say it, or things being overanalyzed. Then on July 30th at 5:17 p.m. East African time, Mercury is going to be opposite Jupiter. So in an attempt to attach greater meaning to our thoughts and ideas, we may tend to exaggerate, overstate, or overestimate. We strive to find both meaning and purpose to our lives. With this transit. However, it's all too easy to miss or neglect important details. Our ideas and plans may be too grandiose just now, lack of clear mental focus, but we may make measurable progress if you can manage to focus. On the same day at 9:44 p.m. East African time, Mercury is going to be trine Neptune. So this is imagination and intuition running high, and we will be involved. Those aspects, imagination and intuition, will be involved in the decisions that you make on that day. You will definitely, feel like you're in the right place at the right time. You can also easily sense the thoughts and feelings of others. You're going to be able to express yourselves as well with a really subtle kind of flair. It also favors photography, the arts, poetry, fiction, spirituality, advertising, and promotion. So if any of those areas are your areas, that is an ideal day for you to, get to doing those things. You will be super, super successful. I hope you have a fantastic Cancer season, everybody. Stay tuned to the channel. I'll be posting more astrological updates as as the month comes to an end, and also look out for the raffle that I'm having for Cancer season, and the energy readings for the month are also going to be up soon. Until I see you again, namaste.